Thanks for tuning in. We are going to make living water now. If you're watching this, you've decided to already purchase LifeFX Living Water Droplets, or you're thinking about it. And we want to show you how easy it is. All right, so this is how I do it. This is how a lot of people do it, just to make sure you always have living water on hand. You buy a 5 liter, 10 liter, 8 liter kombucha style jar where the tap sits above the water. So when the sediment occurs, that will dip below the tap, and you can actually just easily drink your water without having to filter it. Because as the water is actually treated by the living water droplets, what happens is that all your heavy metals, anything that's a dissolved solid, which could be all sorts of stuff, lead from the pipes, it could be organic matter, it could be mercury, it could be all sorts of different things. And what happens is it will actually, the minerals will actually coagulate it, and it will flocculate to the bottom of the jar, which is fantastic news for all of us. So what you do to make it is you'll take a little cup that you'll receive with your LifeFX Living Water Droplets, and this one's 5 liters. So what we'll do is we'll put 5 mils. We'll just measure 5 mils out here. Put it in. Add your water. And this water that I'm using, this is filtered rainwater. So look, we have lots of people that use rainwater without being filtered. We do have under the house filtration here. So what we do is start with the best quality. I definitely recommend start with the best quality of water that you can, because the minerals then have less work to do and more mineralization remains within the living water. Okay, so we've got that one. We'll fill it up. There we go. And that's it. Leave it for perhaps 60 minutes or so. You can leave it overnight. You can leave it for 5 days. You can leave it for a year, and it's still going to be phenomenal. You could leave it for longer than a year. This is not only just living water for drinking every day, but it's actually water security for you if you're looking at different angles of how to use it. So after that 24-hour period, you will start to see sediment in most water, not everything. The LifeFX Living Water Droplets will be the same. What's going to vary is the water. What's going to vary is the pH of your water. What's going to vary the dissolved solids within it, as well as the temperature. So how much you actually see will vary. But you can be sure that you will be getting living water in your body. Okay, so that's the easy way. And you can do this with tap water as well. That's not filtered. If you're doing it with straight city tap water coming right out of your apartment building, what you'll want to do, instead of using 1 mil, just use 2 mils. We recommend doing 2 mils because you don't know what's in there and it can be quite full on. And then leave the cap off for at least 24 hours, possibly up to 48 hours would be beneficial. And then after that 24 to 48 hour period, you can put the cap on. And that's purely because you'll have chlorine off-gassing into the air. If you actually left the cover on, what would happen is you would take the cover off and you just get a huge whiff because it will be between that space between the water and the lid. Okay, so that's the easy way. For people who are not, who want to go the extra mile, there's a different way to do it as well, and that's with a ceramic filter. What we can do with this one is you'll have these jars here, and you'll treat the water first. So get it straight out of your tap, and then you'll do, these are 3 liter containers. So you do 3 mils. There's 3, there's another 3, and then you'd fill each of those with water. You'd let them sit for 24, 48, 36 hours so that you get all the sediment out. And then you'll if you're starting with unfiltered water, you'll usually most likely have a decent yellow tinge at the bottom. And then after you have those sitting for that amount of time, you can then take it and then pour them in here. And then what will happen is all that yellow sediment will get filtered out by your ceramic filter, and then you'll be able to just drink straight from the tap right there. And then the only thing I highly recommend, because once you get going with the living water, your body really, really loves it, is to make sure you have enough on hand. Myself and many others that I know, if we run out, we're like, what do I do? So look, as long as you have enough on hand, then you are good to go. And it's 1 ml to 1 liter for filtered alkaline rain, spring water, anything that's already had a decent amount of cleaning to it. And then if you're starting with straight tap water, go for 2 ml to a liter. And if you happen to be out in the bush and you have you have like muddy water, you could actually use this to create living water and clean water as well, but you just need to really up the dose based on how much sediment is in the water. So that is about it, I think. I wanted to show you one other thing. Have a look at this. So this is what it looks like as the minerals are doing their job. And so you have that yellow tinge, but what you have at the bottom, you can see is that layer of dissolved solid starting to fall out. And so that's normal, that's inert, that is something that when you look at, you're like, oh, gross. So if you don't want to actually see it, then this is the way to do it with your ceramic filter setup. However, when you use this setup, it's also great. This is what I personally do, because all of that will sit at the bottom. And then what you can do at the end of this, if your plants need water, they love it. So you can pour the end bit on your plants, or you can filter it through a muslin cloth or coffee filter, and then it will take out the rest of the sediment and you'll still have your living water. So that's about it. We hope you enjoy.